This is your host, David Radney. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Scotch and Scripts. Well, cheers. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you. I got my coffee.
I see I have my Scotch, my Dalmore 12 year. I'm super excited to have you on the call. You know, I've been watching you for years. I have a lot of respect for you as a real estate agent, husband, father. We worked in the same office for years together, and I just watched you work and hustle every day. In fact, when it was time for me to sell my house, Michelle and I knew that you were the right person to call. And not only did you sell our house quickly, you got us a great price for our house, and we were very happy with the experience. So thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you for the opportunity. I loved working with you guys. It was a great experience, and I'm always thankful for any opportunities that come my way.
I appreciate that. So one of the goals with my interview with you today is to bring value to a lot of new agents that are getting into real estate. I've noticed a trend where agents are coming in for a class in the morning, or they may go on property tour, and then after that, they are ghosts. You don't see them, you don't hear from them, and they're not taking this serious and treating this as a full-time business. Right. I was just curious if you could just briefly speak to that.
Sure. I mean, after they come in for a meeting and property tour, what are you doing to get business? I mean, what are you doing with the rest of your day? There's a million things in this business that you could be doing. You can keep going to see homes, right? Learn about the product, learn about homes, learn about roofs and heating systems and windows and siding. Be the most knowledgeable you can be about homes. Know your niche also. If you're working in a certain town, study that MLS, study the under contracts, days on market, price per square foot, right? Learn everything that you can about that market. There's so much content out there that they could be doing, social media. I mean, there's a million things that they could be getting knowledgeable about versus just knocking off and saying, okay, I have nothing to do, right? Making phone calls, go to the mall, go see the people that you do business with, your dry cleaner, your gas attendant, literally the restaurants. I mean, there's so many ways that you can talk to people, right? And this has pushed me in bold because they tell you to go out and make those certain contacts, right?
That's
but
right.
It's a numbers game and it's a people game. That's the business we're in. We're in the people business, right?
Mm-hmm. We are in the people business, and you just rattled off in 1 minute, maybe 20 or 30 things that people can be doing every day. So there's really no excuse for you not to be busy and immerse yourself in real estate. That's how you learn.
Right. If you consider this your business and you love it,
yes,
well, dive into it and just keep going, and the opportunities will start coming your way. If I have a really busy morning, I'll come in earlier and take care of certain tasks that I have to do before the day starts, right? And that's important because then once the day starts, you get an email, you get a text, and sometimes you can't push those things off. And even if you're doing follow-up or prospecting, there's certain things that I feel better attacking early on, and then I feel better going through my day versus I'm always worried about I have to take care of that. So
I completely understand that.
And then I'm in the office pretty much all day, in and out, appointments and what is going on through the day. But I have a pretty set routine, and I don't leave till I try to leave at 5. But as we all know, in this business, you have appointments, or someone says I can't do this at 4, it's 7. So, yeah.
It's a full-time job, though, is what I hear you saying.
Oh, it's a full-time job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, with it being a full-time job and needing to be available sometimes 7 days a week, how do you carve out time for family? You're married, you have 2 children, you want to have a life as well. So how do you create that balance?
I do. And this past Sunday was the first Sunday that I was off in a really long time, and it felt pretty good. The weather was amazing. I spent a lot of time with the family, and it wasn't because it was planned, but circumstances with houses that I have weren't ready to be open. And once I saw that opportunity, then we made it a family day. But I schedule it. You have to schedule it so everyone's on the same page because my kids play sports, and
yes.
So if it's not scheduled, you're just going to run into a rut of either not working or working all the time.
Working all the time.
Everybody talks about the balance, which is almost impossible. It goes from one extreme to another, right? So summertime, I spend a lot more time with my family, right? That's the treasured time, and
right.
Well, and the rest of the season is grind.
Sure is. And like you said earlier, if it's not on your schedule, it does not exist. So
absolutely,
you're putting your schedule together. The family time's important. Vacation time's important.
Right.
Conferences that you're going to, it's important to put those down. And you build your business around those dates and activities.
Right. And you always have to have some flexibility, but as long as it's in your schedule, you're not going to overlap.
Right. So I completely agree with that. And you have a really strong business in Bergen County, and you live in Wyckoff. You do a lot of business in Wyckoff, and a lot of people are gravitating towards building a niche and really focusing on a town or two in their area. Are there any things that you felt you did a great job at when it comes to building your brand in the town of Wyckoff?
I'm learning every day. I mean, I wish I could say I have a master at it, but I'm not even close. I barely just scratching the surface because I've seen other agents do it at a successful level, and that's what I'm trying to do. I think going tighter is better. I actually had a newer agent just ask me that question the other day. He says, "What would you do if you were starting out right now?" And I thought it was an awesome question. Would you go tight? And I think I would go tight. I would go somewhere where either you live or do some research in a town that doesn't have those dominant players, and see if maybe you can break into that market. I don't know. I don't know the exact answer to the question, but it made me think about it because I thought it was a great question. But yeah, I'm trying to go tighter and then the business will grow organically if I'm tight in one spot. That's how I feel.
No, I completely agree with you. I think a lot of concern for newer agents and even veteran agents, when they think about having a niche, they think, well, this particular town has so many agents, I can't really get in there and build my business. And I learned from moving to Wyckoff that if you get in there and you're willing to work, it will give you an opportunity.
Yeah, if you show up over and over again, like you said, people will see, wow, he's working, he's hustling, he's doing open houses. I see him on tour, he's posting on social media. So yeah, you will get those opportunities. And it's mindset too, right? If you think that it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. But and in this business, that's like number one, because you're alone a lot. So if you don't have that right mindset, you can get into your mind can go into the dumps pretty quickly.
It can go. Yep. Mindset's really important. As you know, we have the morning mindset call, and that's one thing we talk about. We start our day with gratitude, and we really work on mindset because we need that. This is a tough job. There's a lot of moving parts, and your mindset has to be correct. And the words you speak to yourself are very important.
Right.
Yep. So when it comes to, and here's the other question I have, in your business in Wyckoff, or just your business in all, what's your biggest opportunity moving forward to continue growing?
The biggest opportunity is there's tons of business out there. There's tons of business out there, and you just have to go for it. You have to continue to, the grind, or the calls, the open houses, the tours. The opportunity is huge in real estate. Like we all know, there's no ceiling, right? It's as hard as you want to work to get to that level that you feel you're successful at. And everyone's got a different goal in mind, right? And we change our goals, but you have to keep a positive attitude. I mean, I can't stress that enough, because I know for myself, it's sometimes you just you have those days, right? And you just push through them, and you come out better on the other side.
So speaking of goals, something that's really important to me, and I know you believe in this as well, is having written goals and also having a vision board up, things that are important to you, things that you're striving towards.
Right.
Do you mind sharing what your goals are for 2020? It doesn't have to be dollar amount, it can be units, but what are some of your goals or things that you want to focus on in 2020 with your business?
Well, I bought we sold our primary residence last year, and one of the biggest goals of the new home is trying to get it done to these little projects. That's a huge goal, just to get my mind in order, because last year I had a huge distraction, right? My mind was off of it. What you focus on expands, and when you take your mind off of the main thing, which was real estate, I saw the business change for me, right? So now if I can get that back in order and have that piece as far as the home life, working on the home, then I can focus back. So that was that's my number one goal for 2020, is get all my projects done so I can focus on my main thing. And always the big goal is the beach house on the ocean, right? That just drives me every day. So
we need those drivers, because to your point, there are days when it's really challenging. And if we don't have that vision board or those goals that we're working towards, it's easy to say, I'm done today. I'm leaving at 3, or I'm not going to go into the office today.
Yep. I look up at my vision board. So I have a vision board. There are 3 shelves. I went to IKEA. I bought 3 shelves. I bought a bunch of picture frames, and I put the pictures of my goals in those picture frames. And then you can move them and change them easily. Obviously, family's up there, but the goal is to have that beach house and to have that big party where family and friends can come, and I can say, wow, look at this. Look what I've created, and I can enjoy it with my family and friends, right? Because goals without sharing with people, to me is nothing. So that would be an amazing goal if I could hit that one day.
When you hit that.
When I hit that.
When you hit it.
See, that's it.
Yep, absolutely. It's the words and how we speak it. So one thing that really impressed me about you, we worked in the office in Wyckoff together, and I looked at your vision board and I saw a picture of a red Corvette.
Yeah.
And so you came in every day and you were working. You had the picture of this. What year is a Corvette?
So it's a 2004 Z06.
Yes.
It's a specific car that I wanted. That was a goal 2 years ago, that if I reach a certain point that I was going to go and buy it. And I had reached the goal, and I was still hesitant. And then my wife said, well, you set the goal, you put the money aside, go after it. But it still felt, I don't know, it's kind of odd, right? You hit the goal and you're ready for it, and you kind of hesitate. I still hesitated, but yeah, I got it, and I love it.
And how's that feel when you get in that car and it went from being a picture on your board to being in your garage? How's that feel?
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome that I worked hard for it and I got it. And I tell my kids, you work hard for something, you put your mind to something, you can go after it. And that's what I try to tell them every day and show them that every day.
I hope you new listed agents are listening in to what Sergio just said. You have to have goals and you have to be working towards them. They need to be in front of you. We all have challenging days, so we need to be able to see those things that are important, those goals that we have that we're working hard for. We need to see them every day. Sergio, I love that you have the 3 shelves with everything that's important to you. And you will.
I'll tell you, sorry to interrupt. Before coming here, I had 0 goals. There were no goals. I remember sitting with Sally, and she had asked me certain questions that got me thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And once I came here, that I started setting those goals. And even in bold, when you write those letters to yourself and you get that letter and you're looking at them, you're like, okay, accomplished, accomplished, accomplished. No matter how small or how big, it's pretty amazing. It's empowering. It makes you want to set new goals and keep going.
Yes, it does. That's great. Yeah, getting those letters back is tremendous.
Yeah.
You forget about them, and all of a sudden they come in. You have all these goals and all these things you said you were going to do, and some of them you do, some of them you haven't done. But it's just great to be reminded of what you had written down the year previously.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a great feeling.
Fantastic. So what are some of the biggest challenges you have in your business?
Getting new business. That's probably the biggest challenge. The prospecting, right? None of us really, I don't know anyone who enjoys making calls, right? I would rather sit somewhere and get business, right? We would all want that. So the biggest challenge is obtaining new business, and the competition that's always out there. I try not to look at the competition and just focus on myself, right? It's because I get better than my competition is weaker, right? But that would probably be the number one challenge, is always getting new business. As you know, you wake up every day unemployed in this business, and you have to go out and fish.
Well, at least we should look at it that way. We should wake up every day at 0 and think, I have no listings, I have nothing under contract. What I do today is going to earn an income for me 3 months later.
Correct. Yeah, what you do today shows up 3. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So speaking of that, one thing I always talk about is October 31st. And so really we have until October 31st to get deals under contract to give them enough time to close by end of year.
Right.
So you're absolutely right. We got to be working every day towards our goal, and we have to start every day at 0.
Yes.
So you said we need to be prospecting. So I believe there are 2 schools of thoughts. You farm, which is your sphere of influence, previous deals. You're talking to those people to get referrals in.
Right.
And then hunt, which is expireds and for sale by owners.
The fun ones.
Right. And you mentioned that that's something that you don't enjoy doing. However, you have to do it in order to build in more business.
Yeah.
How has your success and your growth in Wyckoff helped you, talk to for sale by owners and get more listings because they see your success and what you've done in your business?
Well, it's like pushing a snowball down the hill, right? Once you start rolling and people start seeing your signs and your advertising, it gets a little easier, right? You still have those challenges, but once you get momentum and you keep that momentum going,
right,
it does get a little easier when you go on a listing appointment and they say, okay, you were referred to me, or we see your signs, or we see your marketing. So it does get easier as it gets going. What has been my experience.
Yeah, it definitely does. And especially when you're in a niche area like Wyckoff or Franklin Lakes, if you just focused on the for sale by owners and expireds in those towns, they know you, they see your signs, they see postcards, all the open houses, everything you're doing. So you're just not a no-name agent knocking on their door or calling their phone. They recognize you because of all the success you're having.
That's yeah, and getting involved in the town. If you have kids in school, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to get out there. But social media, I think, is huge. Social media, open houses, because there's so many times that I've done an open house and you see the same players, and then a year later you'll get referred and you walk in, you're like, hey, I know you. You've been coming to my open house for the last 2 years, you know. So it becomes a lot easier because people that are out at open houses usually they're either going to buy or sell, right? And sometimes you're getting sized up at an open house of how you conduct yourself, and they're looking for a listing agent.
Yes, they are. They really are. And they're looking for agents that are getting the work done and having success. And it's really about building a brand at this point in time. You mentioned social media, and you and I have talked about this before. I definitely want to see you on social media more, because you just.
I was just talking to my wife about it today. That you and I were this morning, literally before we were talking about. I said, I talked to Dave, and he gets me going, and I just can't get over that hump. I need to get over that and start doing what he's telling me.
Absolutely. So what is it going to take for you to do it?
I told him, like, follow me around, do something. We need to get this done. I do it, but not at a level where I think I'm barely scratching the surface. I think it's huge to be out there, and everyone's doing the same things. I try to go against, if everyone's doing this, I want to do something different, right? You have to stand out because we're all doing the same thing.
That's right.
Social media. So yeah, but literally we were just talking about it this morning. So I really want to make that a goal and get some help or whatever it takes to get going.
Well, one thing I was reading, and I hope this gives you value and other people value, I was reading something by Gary Vaynerchuk, and he's the social media guru.
Yeah, I know him well. I love him.
Yeah, I love the guy. So he talks about the traditional agent that's joining all the teams and sponsoring, sports teams at the schools, joining the PTA. They're always present in person. However, they're leaving out what Facebook can do for them as far as running ads for your business and targeting people who live in your town, whose kids go to the school your kids go to, and targeting them on Facebook with ads, just kind of showing who you are and what you do as a real estate agent. It's a way for you to stay top of mind with the people who are your target market. And so running ads and learning Facebook is a great way for you to introduce yourself into social media and get in front of people who are the decision makers that live in your town.
Sure. That's a huge opportunity.
Yeah. So I can tell you this, Nick in our office in Ridgewood, he's helped me, start running ads and talking about the push program I run and the morning mindset call. And I was really surprised at how simple it was. I had to hear it 2 or 3 times to really get it and understand.
Right.
Once I understood how to run the ads, it's quite simple, and it's something I would highly encourage you to do. Sit down with someone in Ridgewood and get a quick training on using social media.
Yeah, we Nick and I have had a few meetings, and where it's an ongoing. I want to get it more of a consistent basis.
Yes,
so he's been instrumental in that.
Okay, so Sergio, what percentage of your business is listings versus buyers?
So the past few years, it's listing heavy over buyers. I would say it's probably a 60-40, maybe a 75-25.
Okay.
Yeah, it's become very listing based.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you prefer to have listings over buyers? Does that make more sense?
I know people say buyers, this and that. I really enjoy working the buyers. I love showing the homes and explaining stuff to them. I love that aspect. You get to know them, you get to know their family. I mean, it's great both ends. I love the listing side too. Mm-hmm. This could be my mindset, but I always felt like the buyers were more appreciative at the end of the day.
Right.
At the end of the transaction, they're so appreciative, and they're telling where a listing is, yeah, you got my house sold, all right, great, and they kind of move on. Not all of them, but it's a little different. But yeah, I enjoy both. I enjoy both sides of the business. I enjoy the marketing. I love the photography and getting the house ready and explaining systems of the home, and yeah, I enjoy all aspects of it.
Well, you're really good at it. When you listed my house, I was so impressed at how you went through and actually made my house ready. And you took it where it wasn't my home anymore. It was a house.
Well, that's
the top, right?
Yeah. That's what I try. That's what I tell my, when I go in and I say, this is, I understand it's your home, but now it's a product that we're trying to sell.
Right.
So you have to treat it like a product. And I know you still live here, but you have to keep it as close to the photos as you can. And it's something that you want the buyers to envision themselves in and not feel like they're walking into someone's home. You want them to feel like it's their home when they're in there.
That's right.
You want to take down pictures and memorabilia that you may personal stuff. And your house was easy because it was awesome. There was very little tweaking in your home. It was just staged nicely. It was painted great. It was decorated, so it made life a little easier.
Well, the tweaking you did definitely made a difference, and like we got to go fairly quickly. So a couple more questions, and I'm going to let you go. Do you have a USP, a unique selling proposition, when you're talking to a seller or buyer, why they should use you, why they should hire you over any other agent?
Well, I say that I work my tail off, and things come to mind as I'm saying this, that I won't give up, no matter how many hours, how much time it takes. And sometimes it's to my detriment that I take so much time with these people, and that I don't push harder, but sometimes certain transactions need a little more hand holding than others. I'm energetic. I'll get the job done, whatever it takes, literally whatever it takes. And I think that comes through when I talk to people. That's what I'm really about. I don't think anyone's going to push that hard.
I think you're absolutely correct. And when you were saying that, all I kept thinking was content. When you're pushing harder, when you're going over and beyond all the things you do that the average agent isn't willing to do, that's what you need to be documenting and recording and sharing.
I know, right? The vacuuming and taking out the garbage and cleaning the bathrooms and making the beds and, whatever it takes, literally whatever it takes.
Yep. You just need to get a little tripod like I have. I have this little thing here that you've seen before, and you set that up and put it on record, selfie mode, and just video or take pictures of yourself and document it. We have to be documenting that.
I have to do that.
I'm gonna send you the Amazon link so you can order.
Okay. Cool.
So, Sergio, I really appreciate your time. I want you to pose a question to the next person I interview. Do you have a question that I can give them?
I do. If my question is, if they had to start over, all over again, what would be the one thing that they would do to get success quickly? If their real estate business was over and they had to start all over again, what's the one thing that they would concentrate on to get that ball rolling quickly down that hill?
That is a great question. I appreciate that. Sergio, thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's been awesome. I love talking to you.